Okay, thank you, Professor Chen. Everyone, I'm very glad to come here, and I'm very happy that I have this opportunity to to give a talk online with Professor Chen and Professor Zhang, and with the Journal of Frontiers of Engineering Measurements. This journal is so good, I encourage all of you to submit the papers to that journal. This journal not only provide you opportunity to publish a paper, but also give you opportunities to make a communication. I think that will be very important. It's very important because sometimes I even think that communication even much important than only write a paper. And because based on that kind of communication discussion, we can have a lot of new idea. And this time, because the chair of the presentation tonight is Professor Chen. Professor Chen is expert in this field. I'm also very happy about that. So I hope that we can have the further discussion in this field because the Professor Chen did a very good work in the releases, urban releases, and so on. So I also work in this field. Okay, I will start my presentation. And this work actually is done by my PhD students, Amir and Shar. And he is a Pakistan student, my overseas students, and graduate from last year. I'm very happy that after coronavirus, he can graduate in time. And now he continue his academic career to Sichuan Agriculture University, if I remember correctly, and to become a postdoctor. He got the postdoctor position. I'm very proud of that. He can, based on his ability, based on his hard work, he can got that position. So what we did in for publication from the Journal of Frontiers of Engineering Measurements is about the urban constructed wetland evaluation. But in tonight, I will not only focus on only for the wetland system. I'd like to tell you why we want to do this kind of topic and why we think that some new methods is more suitable to make evaluation for the urban blue and green infrastructure. That is my idea. So I will start my presentation from this four part. First is background. And actually, as we know that the small scale ecosystem services in cities. That means the ecosystems in cities is actually not the large scales, it's the small scales. There are different types of the small scales, the ecosystem in cities, such as the street tree, the green roof, the rain garden, and the constructed wetland. So this figure shows some urban ecosystems, and they provide the multiple ecosystem services like the purification of pollutions, the reduction of water runoff, and the carbon sequestrations, and so on. You all know about that. So therefore, the green and blue infrastructure is very important as climate change, migration, and adaptation measures to and have a host of wider benefits to people and wildlife in cities. But there's a lot of difference between the small scale system and the large scale system. So this system provides a different, although we can name these similar ecosystem services with similar name, but actually they are still have very important differences. For example, large-scale ecosystem provide more provisioning services that are not commonly available on small scale. Further, the biodiversity is low on small scales because they promote single species stand rather than large scales. And many researchers did a lot of work on large scales to quantify the ecosystem services, but few people work on a few street trees or a single trees. Further, the large-scale methods cannot easily be used on the small scales, although they are all trees, but the methods are different. Except of that, we need also consider about the disservices. Here we give the concept of the disservices. The urban ecosystem provide different impacts such as the ecological, economical, and the health and the physiological impacts. So therefore, it is very important to account so that the such as the policymakers as well as the urban manager should understand their roles. In this figure, the tree, in the figure on the corner, the tree shows some negative impacts on humans. So the disservices are important features of the small-scale ecosystem in cities, which cannot be ignored. And the last but not the least, there are some ecosystem disservices we collected the tables generated by the urban green blue infrastructure, and people only use monetary method to value them, but they cannot easily sum up the other values. It's wrong to simplify. It's wrong to simply sum up them together directly. So therefore, the methods need to be developed to quantify the disservices in order to achieve the better results. So here we propose some new series and methods here. Here is the research routes of the study. First, we review the literature and collect the data of research preparations and then identify the ecosystem types. After that, we classify the small-scale urban ecosystems and identify the ecosystem services and disservices. And after drawing the MG diagram, and next step is to develop the methods and to calculate each services under the rules and regulations of the MG algebra. Further, we use the ternary methods to compare the results. And at the end, we give the suggestions and recommendations to the decision maker. The first is the classification of small-scale services in cities. This table shows the classification, and they generate several services, include provisioning services, regulating services, supporting services, and cultural services. We have selected several green and blue infrastructure, such as street trees, the green roof, the sun-key greenland, and the constructive wetland in cities for research, because they're increasing importance in urban areas. In urban small-scale green and blue infrastructure has a lot of services, but still additional work is required to quantify them, because some of services not have equations or methods to quantify them. ESV, that is ecosystem services value, accounting technologies mainly include the monetary and non-monetary methods. Previous study related on the evaluation of ecosystem services focus on the monetary methods to accounting the ecosystem services, which are based on the consumer side perspective. We choose MG method to solve the current problem in a small-scale ecosystem from the donor side perspective, because it avoids the double counting, avoids the over-evaluations of services, and calculates values from ecosystems, processes, and functions. Further, it takes all the processes of all the resources into the consideration, include of the several resources do not have the market value. For example, the renewable resources, just like the sunlight, the deep heat, and the tide energies. So it can consider not only the renewable resources, but also the non-renewable ones. So the aims of the study is to develop a new non-monetary ecosystem services framework and to investigate and growing and maintenance cost and the ecosystem services avoided cost for the human health and biodiversity damages and the disservices of the urban green and blue infrastructure. Next, let's see what we did. First, the case we choose is Beijing. Beijing, we all know that. We will not give the further introduction of that. I will only show the data which collected from the China Synthetic Rune and China Biodiversity Research Report, and as well as the various of the government report and scientific literature. The first case actually we did is assessing the environment services and challenges of the urban street trees and applications of the MJ accounting and the street trees plantings and the home lawns are two the prominent examples of the monocultures in the urban landscape. This is the system diagram of the urban street trees infrastructures. From these figures, we can show that from left, there are some renewable sources to input into the system. And from the top, the humans inputs are also input into the system. And from the right is ecosystem services. The street tree generates some of the ecosystem services and the disservices that are on the right side. For example, the disservices we consider is about the, for example, the VOC. If we plant too many of the trees in the cities, we will create some damages there. And there's some innovation of the methods. The innovative of the study is to develop all the equations, especially, for example, the noise reduction emissions, because the green and blue infrastructure also abated the noise from the urban environment, which is one of the most important services in the urban area. Previous studies indicated that green space reduce the noise, but they didn't measure how much of the trees or per square meters of the trees reduce the noise through the monitoring methods, because they didn't have the method to accurate data. This figure shows the mechanism of the how urban street tree reduce noise. This table shows that there's about 130 million people are exposed to those noise, and average about 15.5 dBs of the those noise explosions for about 112.8 million people. Further, based on this calculation, only for the road noise, we can calculate the damages it can create. For example, based on calculations, we calculate that there are about 583,000 daily. That is the damage. What is the daily? Daily is disabled life year of the people. That means the noise can create the that can reduce that kind of the damages. So based on these calculations, we can measure the noise reduction services. So in that case, we can calculate the results of all the energy inputs and outputs and the ecosystems. This table represents the renewable and human inputs for the street tree. Among the human inputs, average values for fertilizer, especially the fertilizers, is the biggest one. If we compare it with the other humans inputs. Among the renewable inputs, nature rainfall values is the largest one, and the water from the human irrigation can't be accounted into the renewable inputs, because people can be extracted appropriately for the irrigation. And the next tables is about the different species inputs, and the results show that we select the different types of street tree, just like such as the maples, the ash, the pines, the different trees. So you can see that the results show that the maples and the cab apples amongst the other trees need more watering and in large amounts, especially when they are young, because they are growing quickly and consuming resources more quickly. And this table shows the benefits of the selected tree. All trees reduce the noise, but the coniferous trees, such as the spruce plants, are the most effective to reduce the noise, because the conifer plants absorb the sounds better than the broad leaves trees. As I mentioned about, the trees produce some disservices such as the VOC or the permanent damage. According to our results, the weeping willows emits more VOCs than other trees because it affects humans more. Further, the values of the permanent repairments is also another huge amount of cost, and can be caused by the microbial decomposition. Therefore, there's a need to plant the trees in the proper place to avoid the huge damage. So the main purpose of the ternary diagram is to show the compositions of the three components. It includes our ecosystem services, that is output, and the inputs, that is the inputs, and also the disservices, that is the negative outputs, right? There's three aspects. So most of the trees shows the maximum benefits when they compare cost and the impacts, but their aspen tree represented maximum benefits rather than the other trees. That is one of the most important results in this part. So another case, this is case 2, so evaluation of the green roof ecosystem services and disservices. Some of the green roof of ecosystem services are the same as the street tree, such as the carbon sequestration and air purification, and we can use the similar equations of the street trees in a green roof, but the parameters are different, so we need, based on the different types of the grass, the roof to make a change. On the other hand, fields of the ecosystem and these services of a green roof have, but maybe the street tree doesn't have. For instance, the green roof have one of the most important function is to store water when the rainwater comes on the roof. In the past doesn't, because the roof was not planted the vegetations, and the water go quickly to the drainage pipes on the corners of the roof. But if you have a green roof in urban areas, and it reduces surface runoff and store some water as well. Moreover, the green roof produces some of the green waste. Therefore, there are still many differences of challenges to qualify the green waste, that such as the garden waste, as the energy consumption used to dump or burn this waste. So we have to develop some new methods to evaluate the green waste. The green roof is divided into 3 parts in terms of human inputs, including the renewable inputs, constructing inputs, and maintenance inputs. In structuring inputs, there are multiple layers used for making the roof, such as the vegetation layer, the substrate layer, and the flat layer. It may also include additional layers such as the roof barrier and the drainage. at the irrigation system. The fertilizers and the pesticides are used on the roof because the fertility is an important aspect of the green roof maintenance. In terms of the MG value, the values of the crushed bricks is the biggest one if we compare them with the other human inputs. This table also shows the input cost of the three green roof, include of the extensive green roof, the stamen intensive green roof, and the intensive green roof. The total object values of intensive green roof per areas are larger rather than the other roof because the larger amount of the substance deep, the depth. The construction cost of the green roofs is also very high as compared with street tree. If we compared the construction values between the street tree and green roof, the green roof shows the 81% values, which is too high, but the street tree only shows 19%. The total ecosystem services of the extensive green roof are more. They are about 64% rather than the extensive and semi-extensive green roof, which is only 9% and 27% respectively, because the larger amounts of vegetation planning. In construct, the intensive green roof also have a higher initial construction and the maintenance cost rather than the other roofs. Further, the microclimate values is very nearly to the sunky greenland, but it shows very low values than the street tree. So this diagram shows the three kinds of the green roof, what's the positions of them. The next case is about the sunken green spaces in the cities. The sunken green spaces is a low impact developed and eco-designed program that is the most make for the storage infiltration of the rainwater and the snowfall. The sunken green space is a low impact developed technology that is considered as a ideal solutions to manage the stormwater as a source through the nature processes. The value of the sunken green space is huge and store large amount of water on the rain days and store water leachate to the ground and recharge the groundwater. While the street tree ecosystem cannot hold a lot of water during the storm events. So therefore, this case study of the green space developed a comprehensive evaluation counting method to quantify the groundwater exchange. So this table also shows the construction cost of the sunken green space. The initial cost of this sunken green space is very low rather than the green roof and the street tree ecosystems. As the results show that the sunken, the name is Kentucky bluegrass, need more water for the irrigation because the Kentucky bluegrass did not remain the green longer under the series of the drought conditions. Furthermore, the construction cost is also lower than the green roof and the street tree. All the sunken grasses show the maximum values of the carbon excretions as compared with other ecosystem services. And the tall, the facule and the tufa grass are the most effective and the sequester carbon and their values are very close to each other. Among the most important services of sunken green space is to recharge the groundwater because it has different connections with the ground. While the green roofs cannot recharge the groundwater the underground water because it's not connected with the ground. Here's the impacts. In the table, the results show that the sunken green space generates significant amounts of the green waste as well. And its value is higher than the VOC because the higher the dumping cost. So here is the ternary diagram. Results show that the Kentucky bluegrasses and the tall fescue benefits are very close to each other. They're about 38 to 37, but the perennial the regress represents the minimum benefits when we compare with other grasses. And the cost is about 13.4%, and the impact is about the 31%. And this is the last case study. It's about constructed wetland. Constructed wetland mimics the functions of the nature wetland to capture the stormwater, reduce the nitrogen loads, and created the diverse wetland habitats. In the past, most of the study have focused on the constructed wetland benefits, but there's a need to focus on the negative efforts, such as the mosquito issues as well, because the attractions of the large numbers of birds to constructed wetland could also be increased the risk of the transmissions of the mosquito the born, so the virus, the infections of humans in the vicinity of the wetland. This figure shows that how to control the mosquitoes in the constructed wetland with the help of the system. With the development of the equations, we can find the MG values of the mosquito issues. The constructed wetland cost is larger than the street tree and also larger than the sunken green space, but nearly to the green roofs. Out of these inputs, the wastewater, the sand, the grave shows the maximum of the MG value. The vegetation values of the different case of the constructed wetland. Here I should say that the CW1 to CW8 is different kinds of the constructed wetland in Beijing. Several of them is they have different types of the constructed wetland, and based on the result, we can compare with the wetland vegetation because the previous study has reported that there 8 constructed wetland have been planted per square meters in free water surface flows in the constructed wetland that are more than vertical or horizontal the constructed wetland. So we use the data from the literatures to make comparisons about the cost of the construction or maintain of this wetland. And various types of the vegetation growth in constructed wetland and the average, the microclimate regulations of constructed wetland 4 is higher because it's a higher plant density. And another most important services of constructed wetland improve the water qualities of the wastewater when the wastewater flows into the wetland. But the other urban green and blue infrastructure doesn't have this kind of the services. So the blue infrastructure might be harmful to the people because they're complex and huge construction, and it generates some of these services such as the greenhouse gas emissions and the mosquito issues. Further, the values of mosquitoes controls is larger, but and can be caused by some of design features such as the shadow water and emergent vegetations. This is result of the ternary diagram shows for the example. We can compare that different kinds of the constructed wetland, which is cost more but benefits more. So we can make a comparison of that. Okay, what we did actually is use the framework to make calculations for all kinds of the green and blue infrastructure. So because we based on the similar framework, we can make comparisons between them. So in this slides, we can see that constructing cost of street trees is about 2.53 ETL SEG. That is the cost of the street tree. That is about 100 times less than the green roof and 10 times less than constructing wetland and the Sankey green space. Because the construction of trees is very simple and just dig a hole and put the tree inside into the hole. Further, they also require less maintenance as compared with the other green and blue infrastructure on annual basis. But green roof required many things to construct it, such as the equipment, the growing substandard materials, maintenance, and the labor cost. Moreover, the construct wetland values is very close to the other construct wetland when we compare with other studies. And how about the benefits? The green roof benefits value is about 10 times higher than the street tree and also the Sankey green space, but a little bit lower than the constructed wetland because the most street tree and the Sankey green space grows in local the natural soil rather than the engineering organic substance. But the organic substance generates more benefits. How about the impact? The impact of the street tree, Sankey green space, and the green roof are close to each other, but they are 10 times less than the constructed wetland value, which due to the large amount of the predicted required to control the mosquitoes and also the huge amount of the energy to remove the green waste in the constructed wetland. So the framework shows some important services and disservices and also shows some linkage between the different green and blue infrastructure. So based on this common framework, we can do this kind of case. For example, we can build the whole city's linkage between the different green and blue infrastructure. For example, the soil blue lines in the fingers indicated that the water is saved through the implemented the innovative technology inside of cities, where the green infrastructures consumes a huge amount of the energy when they compare with the green spaces. Similarly, the trees can provide some energies and energy can be used in the food, water, and energy flows in the cities. Okay, here's the conclusion. The results of the case study, street trees ecosystem indicators that the oak trees is not suitable in Beijing because the minimal values of benefits as compared to the other trees. And in terms of these services, the permanent repaired values is higher, but if the city planner adopt new technology of the previous permanent improve street trees health and reduce the infrastructure damage. And the water storing is the most important services provided by the green roof and the Sankey green space among the other evaluation services. And moreover, all the green and blue infrastructure sequester carbon from the atmosphere, which is higher as compared with the other ecosystem services. And we also have some recommendations to the policymaker. Although the green and blue infrastructure is considered as the potential solutions for the pollution control and its best management practice provides the multiple the social, ecological, and the economic benefits. But many factors such as the high initial cost, awareness of the green and blue infrastructure construction mechanism, and the maintenance cost still hinder the green and blue infrastructure in the underdeveloped countries. So in the future, there's a need to focus on these challenges increase the policy coherence to ensure that the synergetic and trade-off between the cost, between the ecosystem services and between the disservices are taken into account both in the developing and the implementation of the strategies and the investment at the urban scale. So the city planner and manager use these results can give a good policies to the city for the green and blue infrastructure. So thank you for the attention, and thank you for the journals, the Frontiers of Engineering Management give these opportunities to publish this paper, and hope we have the further opportunities to publish more papers in your journal. Thank you.